Hello and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are tackling one of the biggest, most notorious headaches in all of academic and professional life, the literature review. But what if I told you that you could turn that dreaded task into a super focused, even creative process? Well, you can, and we're going to show you exactly how using a powerful technique called context engineering.
I mean, let's be real. Sifting through what feels like a mountain of papers, trying to connect all the dots, synthesizing different arguments, and then somehow finding that one elusive gap in the research. It can make your head spin. It's a massive job. But what if your AI could be more than just a fancy search engine? What if it could become a real partner, a true research assistant doing the heavy lifting right there with you?
So here's the secret. The big mistake most of us make is just asking the AI to write a lit review on this topic. That's like hiring a new intern, pointing to the library and saying, go do research, and then just hoping for the best. The real key here is to completely shift your mindset, from writing a simple prompt to creating an expert briefing. This idea is the absolute core of the context engineering method. And believe me, it is a total game changer.
All right, so here's our roadmap for this explainer. We're going to walk through this whole process step by step. We'll start with how to brief your AI, then we'll get into defining your project's scope with something called a context package. After that, we'll set up a truly collaborative workflow, and finally, we'll make sure you get the perfect output every single time. Let's dive in.
Okay, first up, briefing your AI assistant. The method we're talking about, context engineering, sounds kind of technical, right? Well, the good news is it's not about being some tech genius. It's really about being a great manager. It's the art of giving your AI the perfect, most detailed briefing it could ask for.
At its heart, context engineering is pretty simple. You give the AI such rich, detailed instructions that it literally transforms. It goes from being a general, all-purpose tool into a highly specialized assistant that knows your exact project inside and out. So think of it this way. You're not just asking a question. You're programming a specific persona, a specialist for the job.
And the engine of this whole briefing process is what we're going to call the context package. This is basically the document where you lay out the entire project for your new AI assistant. So let's break down exactly what needs to go in there.
You kick things off by giving it a role. Look at this example. You're not just asking a question, you're giving the AI a job title. You're defining its expertise right from the get-go. This one move is so powerful because it immediately frames every single interaction you're about to have. It primes the AI to act within that specific academic context you need.
Next, you define the core mission. And this goes way beyond just the main objective. You need to be specific about the audience, the voice and tone, and even a target length. Now, why is this so critical? Well, because a lit review for your thesis committee needs to sound way different from when you're writing for a broader publication. Getting this stuff right at the beginning is the key to getting a useful first draft and not wasting your time. Now for the raw materials. This is where you provide the essential inputs. You can paste in key facts, add important links, or even attach source files like PDFs. But just as important, you have to set the constraints. This is where you build the guardrails for your project. You can tell the AI to only use research from the last 10 years, or to completely ignore any non-peer-reviewed articles. This way, you stay in complete control of the source material.
Okay, so we've defined the what in our context package. Now it's time for the how, the workflow. This part is awesome. It's where you turn this from a one-and-done command into a structured, back-and-forth conversation with your AI assistant.
And here's what that conversation looks like broken down into 5 steps. First, the AI does a gap check, where it asks you questions to make sure it has everything it needs. Then, and this part is crucial, it proposes a plan. It gives you an outline that you have to approve before it writes a single word. Once you give the green light, it writes the draft. But then it pauses, waiting for your review and feedback before it makes any revisions.
This brings us to probably the most important part of this whole workflow. That cycle, draft, review, revise, it can repeat as many times as you want. The AI will not move forward, it will not finalize anything until you are totally satisfied and you give the final command, agree. This guarantees that you are the editor-in-chief. You are always in the driver's seat.
Your briefing can also include some really clever rules of engagement. For example, you can tell the AI to automatically summarize any source file that's too long for it to process in one go. And you can bake in a rule that says, if it ever needs more information, it has to ask you during that initial gap check step. It's all about designing a smarter, more proactive assistant from the start.
All right. You've set the role, you've provided all the context, and you've defined the collaborative workflow. The very last piece of the puzzle is telling your assistant exactly how you want the finished product delivered to you.
This is a huge time saver. You can specify the exact output format you need. So whether you need clean markdown with perfect headings for a website, or simple plain text with numbered references for a paper, or maybe just a clear set of bullet points, the AI delivers it in a structure that's ready to use. No more tedious, annoying reformatting.
So, after crafting this entire incredibly detailed expert briefing, what does it actually take to set your new custom-built assistant in motion? It's just one simple command. Start with workflow step 1, gap check. That's it. That one line kicks off the entire collaborative process that you've so perfectly designed.
So there you have it. You can stop asking a generic tool a generic question and just hoping for a decent answer. With context engineering, you now have the literal blueprint to build your own specialized research assistant tailored to your exact needs for any project. So the only question left is, what are you going to create first? Thanks for joining us on The Explainer.